Hi everyone, my name is Teresa Jurgens and welcome to episode 32 of the Innovation Process book. We are covering each chapter and each section of the Innovation Process book in this author-read series. In this episode, we are covering all of chapter 18, which might make it a little longer than some episodes, but shorter than some others as well. In this chapter, we will talk about the roles and responsibilities in lean new product development, which is part of chapter 4, all about lean new product development. In previous episodes, you can catch up on part 1, which is waterfall and staged and gated processes for new product development. Part 2, which covers the Agile and Scrum processes for new product development. And part 3 is WAGILE, a hybrid waterfall and Agile process for product development. Lean talks about reducing waste versus some specific structure that is in the other processes that we've discussed. You can get a copy of the book to read along with me by scanning the QR code on the screen. That will take you to Amazon where you can get a copy of the book. I do recommend the paperback versus the Kindle version just because there's so many figures and graphs. They're a little easier to follow in the paperback version. So let's get started with chapter 18. Roles and responsibilities in lean new product development. Because lean new product development starts with existing systems and functions, many of the roles and responsibilities derive from an operational model of the organization. However, as a hybrid project management methodology, the lean new product development team and workshop participants are limited to about 6 to 10 people. Large teams are ineffective and experience failure in participation. Teams that are too small are dictatorships without the ability to gain buy-in or to view alternate perspectives. A suggested team structure for lean new product development is shown here in figure 18-1. Chief Engineer. The chief engineer in lean applications of product development is a specialized role for an experienced employee. In many cases, the chief engineer has been technically trained with an engineering degree, but this is not always true. Chief engineers have deep knowledge of customers, organizational and operational capabilities, and business acumen. For lean new product development projects, the chief engineer may have risen in the ranks from functional engineering, marketing, manufacturing, or even sales positions. In fact, a broad distribution of job assignments across these departments can build the necessary multidisciplinary skills of a successful chief engineer. Building from the Toyota production system, a chief engineer in lean new product development is responsible for all aspects of the product development effort. This includes design, engineering, manufacturing, marketing, finance, and so on. As indicated in figure 18-1, the chief engineer will supervise the product development work within each of these functions for the duration of the project, shown as team member A, team member B, etc. in the figure. Note, however, that the chief engineer is not a people manager from a traditional management perspective. Chief engineers provide input to the functional managers for promotion, career guidance, and salary treatment of team members, but these elements are not within the authority of the chief engineer. Instead, the primary responsibility and focus of a chief engineer is to ensure the accurate, speedy, and appropriate development of a marketable new product. Typically, chief engineers are homegrown and have worked in several different functions within the company, and perhaps different geographies. The chief engineer has a broad but customer-centric view of product development. Some qualities of a chief engineer follow, and please check the references of the book because there are some fantastic information in those references. Passion, a burning desire to create great products. Learning, fast and effective at learning and knowing what they don't know. Communication, ability to share the product vision and include all levels of the organization as well as external suppliers to motivate product development. Technical understanding. Again, the chief engineer does not have to be technically trained engineer, but must understand how things work. Perseverance. All new product development team members must possess grit in spades. Like the project leader in WAGILE, the chief engineer is responsible for the profit and loss of a new product. It is important to recognize that the chief engineer makes decisions throughout the product development lifecycle that impact the long-term profitability of the product. For example, a simple design might be less costly to manufacture, whereas other cost savings could be made if the product is designed for production on existing factory equipment. Likewise, early product development decisions impact quality for the long run. Therefore, the depth and breadth of knowledge of a chief engineer influences the design of the product as well as the engineering of the manufacturing process. Both components contribute to strategic market goals such as customer acceptance, as well as to revenue and cost objectives. In lean new product development, the chief engineer manages the tension between flexibility to develop novel products and streamlined operations. Fast development cycles may require trade-offs in the number or types of new product features. Meanwhile, ensuring quality and reputation of the firm are also important considerations during new product development projects. Chief engineers use data, information, and recommendations from the team to make critical product and process decisions. As such, they are respected by executive management and by the design teams. Product champion. Chief engineers are responsible for the long-term implementation of a new product, including designing the manufacturing process. The choice of which products to advance falls within the product portfolio management system of the firm. In at least an informal way, the product champion helps to select each new product development project. Somewhat like the product owner in Scrum, the product champion is not directly involved in the work of the project. In fact, product champions may not even have approval authority for a specific new product development project. However, a product champion recognizes the value of the effort and supports the chief engineer and the team, often by freeing resources and streamlining administrative systems within the company to allow a degree of independence for the new product development project team. As shown in the previous figure, a double arrow and dashed line illustrate the interactions between the chief engineer and the product champion. The chief engineer makes decisions for the product and for the manufacturing process, including technical, marketing, and operations. However, the product champion, perhaps serving also as a brand manager, helps to determine which projects are advanced. As an executive or senior manager, the product champion influences the project from a funding perspective and can also impact the career paths of people working on the project. Program manager. In lean new product development, a project is completed without management interruption as long as it falls within the project constraints, previously discussed in figure 13-3. Program managers assist the chief engineer in tracking data, updating dashboards, and coordinating team activities. In many ways, a program manager serves a role like a traditional project manager or scrum master. However, any issues that occur are taken to the chief engineer rather than a formal gate or other management review. The job is to manage exceptions rather than the routine activities of new product development. Sometimes the program manager is called a project coordinator. For complex new product development projects, the program manager serves a broader role than simply tracking data, deadlines, and milestones. Many consider the program manager to be the right hand or deputy serving the chief engineer. In many organizations, program managers are groomed to become chief engineers themselves, so that they might also have broad experiences within the company. Multidisciplinary experience should span deep understanding of customer needs, inbound and outbound marketing, manufacturing, and sales, for example. Program managers are also responsible for scheduling lean new product development workshops and team meetings. Another day-to-day task is to maintain project dashboards, such as a Kanban board or Scrum board, and to complete any necessary management reports or updates. It is most likely that the program manager will note variation or deviation in project constraints and alert the chief engineer to any issues. Lean new product development team. Like all effective new product development project teams, the Lean new product development team is cross-functional. As shown in the prior figure 18-1, the core team is limited to 6 to 10 people who are identified on the working team grid, which we discussed in WAGILE figure 13-2. Smith and Reinersten suggest the following disciplines serve on a Lean new product development team: product designers, hardware and software engineers, manufacturing engineers, procurement, and marketing. In addition, finance is an extremely important role for project decisions. While the chief engineer will be able to make many business decisions, finance can provide guidance and assist with funding. Other roles that should be included, at least in the Lean new product development workshops, are suppliers, vendors, R&D, lab technicians, quality managers, change managers, and sales. Core team members, as identified on the working team grid, may volunteer to work on the project. Volunteering for new product development project work usually creates a more exciting work environment. Team members that share a passion and vision for the project tend to outperform staff that is assigned a job to simply take home a weekly paycheck. Working team members and workshop participants must be limited to those that are actually contributing to the tasks and activities of the project. In functionally organized companies, as the number of team members grows above about a half dozen, the dedication to a project can drop below 10%. While the past few years have introduced huge advances in digital communication, allowing remote work for many jobs, new product development is a task that requires shared implicit knowledge. More challenging projects need not only dedicated resources, but people that work together closely in generalist specialist roles. For these reasons, complex new product development projects and all Lean new product development workshops should be conducted in person. Note that the probability of communicating at least once per week drops to less than 5% when the distance between workers grows to even just 20 meters. Of course, there are some tasks and some team member roles that are perfectly suited to remote work. However, as we have previously recommended, kickoff meetings must be done in person to build the camaraderie and emotional trust necessary for a high-risk product development effort. Interacting with other team members with a daily stand-up meeting, reviewing the project Kanban or Scrum board, and sharing a working space leads to higher levels of creativity, and in turn, learning is enhanced, reducing the chances of wasted knowledge. Partial information is critical to forming theories, concepts, and testing. A shared workspace assists with converting partial information to designs, features, and engineering prototypes. In some cases, the core team members may also have an office in their home department. As shown in figure 18-1 in this episode 32, subteams are often tasked with detailed and in-depth activities that require the support of subject matter experts. Keeping the team small goes hand in hand with maintaining flow. In Lean, flow means having steady and predictable work moving through the system. The pace of new product development projects should also be predictable. When team members shift from front-end design to engineering, they should be reassigned to the next project. Holding team members longer than necessary on a project leads to boredom, while not having enough skilled staff on the NPD project leads to a chaotic work environment. Using product portfolio management effectively, senior management maintains flow for Lean new product development projects. The chief engineer and program manager analyze data from historically similar projects to estimate the number, type, and skills of required resources for most new product development efforts. Functional managers must begin clearing time for these resources as soon as the project enters the idea stage, as opposed to when the project starts billing to an internal accounting code. People need time to wrap up prior work as well as to become familiar with the new product vision and scope of work. Management. Like Scrum and WAGILE product development, management largely stays out of the way of the lean new product development team. Product champions will follow the progress of the project because of their special interest in the new product. However, the structure, or lack thereof, in lean new product development encourages trust and autonomy of the team. As long as the project stays within the agreed upon constraints, management can safely assume that the project is on track. Additional touch points for management occur during several of the lean new product development workshops. Often workshops conclude by summarizing the next steps for management. Managers external to the product development effort are informed of the project status through dashboards and other visual tools. Finally, chief engineers may have a seat on executive committees to share project status, as well as filter concerns from the working teams. Note that managers do not attend team meetings or lean new product development workshops, as these are clearly designated working sessions. Managers are informed by the program manager and chief engineer when exceptions occur to the agreed upon project constraints. Lean new product development team members devise a plan of action and recommendations to address any exceptions to minimize distractions occurring and encouraging management to focus on the strategic direction of new product development. In the next episode, we will discuss Chapter 19, Phases and Tools for Lean New Product Development. Again, get your copy of the Innovation Process book with the square QR code in the upper right. Join the class starting August 12, 2025, where we cover each of the four major innovation processes: waterfall or staged and gated, agile and scrum, WAGILE, and then lean new product development. In 6 weeks, 90-minute sessions for each week of training, we will customize those processes to fit your needs and your organization. So we'll see you next time on Chapter 19.